And change this. Okay. All right, guys. So thank you all for joining us on the call tonight. Definitely appreciate you taking time out of your night. And I wanted to just welcome everybody. And I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's and holiday season. I know ours was amazing, but it went too fast like usual. But I am really, really excited about 2016 for a lot of reasons. But this is going to be a huge year for our team. I'm really, really excited about all the individuals and the momentum that we have going forward. We're starting this year in a really, really good spot with momentum. We're not trying to build it during the New Year's resolution season. We actually already have it. So we just have to capitalize on it, which is really, really cool. And it's a big difference from last year if you were on the team this time last year. So I'm excited about that. So just from a company standpoint, we are also in a really good spot. Plexus is definitely becoming a household name, which is really neat to kind of see how that has evolved over the past almost 2 years, where no one knew about Plexus. Most markets now, a lot of people know about it, but from a market share perspective, we are in an excellent place because a lot of people know about it, but not everybody's jumped on. So that means mega opportunity for each of us, which is a good thing, obviously. And at convention last year, some of the industry analysts, so not Plexus people, talked a lot about 2015 being the kind of the dress rehearsal year, is I think the term that they used, and that 2016 was going to be our big year, like the big blow up year for Plexus, when Plexus was going to become huge. So I'm excited about that, obviously. And they also said that 2015 was where we were just reaching, quote unquote, ground floor. 2016 was going to be where we actually hit ground floor and started going up. So that's really, really cool for us too. So like I said, our team in particular has been one to watch for a while, and I'm really, really proud of all of you guys. Lots and lots of growth over 2015. So I can't wait to see what this call is going to look like this time next year. But you guys have been able to maintain momentum through the slow half of the year. We actually grew through the slow half of the year and through the back office transition and everything that came with that. So we're in a really great spot right now. I invited some of the leaders on the team to come and talk to you guys a little bit about, what they have done over the course of the past year, where they were last year and where they are now, and some just advice, and share their story a little bit with you guys. This call will probably be about an hour, so just be aware, block off some time, and we're going to actually hear from Amber Perry first. So Amber, if you could unmute yourself.
Hi all, I am Amber Perry. I am a Ruby ambassador, and just a little bit about my journey. I've known Sarah for about 15 years now. She was my little in our sorority, and so we were in each other's weddings, and when she started posting about Plexus, my husband and I pretty much immediately trusted her and jumped on board trying the product at the end of March of 2014. It took us a little over a month, maybe about 6 weeks of being on the products before we said, okay, we're going to jump in and be ambassadors. We actually both joined on the same day because at that point in time you could do that. And about 3 weeks later is when the company changed kind of that policy of having to be at gold before you sign your spouse. But when they changed that, they also put in the stipulation that if you are both in the business, you both have to be working the business, and they gave us a deadline of December of 2014 for both of us to be silver. So when we joined, we were really lucky, and our top leg hit silver in June. Mind you, we had one of us under us, so we only had to have 2 people join us on the journey. They were both family that joined us. And at that point in time, we kind of stopped. That summer was a brutal summer. I believe we added 1 more person to our team. So we had 3 people on our team outside of us up until the end of September. And I remember like going to Sarah and saying, Sarah, if we both don't hit silver by the end of December, what are we going to do? Like, what do we need to do? What's our plan? How do we do this? And we talked out a strategy of how to do it. So that was a little crazy. October hit and then November hit. And I had the one thing that I had done the entire time since we joined, because when I joined, I knew that I wanted to sell because I was full-time. We were looking at starting a family in the next couple of years. And our goal had always been for me to stay home, but that was never going to be possible if we didn't figure out another income. So with that being said, October we signed 3 and November we signed 3. Last December 31st, there were 8 people on my team and 2 of those were inactive. So I had 6 total people on my team and that's it. And I was just going for gold. So I had constantly posted, and one of the things that we also decided in December, we've been doing it for 8 months at that point in time, was if this is going to be our business, if this is how we're going to run our lives and what we want it to be around, then we ourselves have to be an example of health and wellness. And at that point, we decided to commit to our health and wellness and started working out. We ate healthy, and we made that conscious decision because we had seen the side effects because of our testimonies with my thyroid and us both being able to quit smoking after 17 years. Those were all non-scale victories, but we hadn't really seen the weight loss. So that was one thing that we did to push forward on that aspect and gain that credibility that we're promoting health and wellness. But also in January, I went to Super Saturday. I drove 9 hours in one day to drive to Richmond, Virginia. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. So I drove 9 hours to make sure I was there that day because I really needed to hear that. I then also, at the end of January, had to drive to Myrtle Beach for an opportunity meeting. It was part of a contest that I believe Jamie was doing, and I was trying to win that contest. I tied for first, I'm just going to say. Apparently, I am a goal-oriented person. But at that opportunity meeting is where I really drew my line in the sand. And I ended up giving my testimony for the first time in 60 people that I had never met. And I started crying, and I brought everybody in the audience to tears. And Kendra Randolph, is that right?
Yes.
She is now a diamond.
Yes.
But I believe emerald at the time. After that, she was there because it was an emerald tour. And I talked to her afterwards, and she's like, this is where God is calling you. This is where you have to be. So I just continued to push. I continued to do daily income producing activities. I was posting almost 3 times a day, and I said, I'm going to put everything into this I have, contacting people, everything. So it took 5 months from that point in time, and in May of 2015, 1 year after we joined, our top leg finally hit gold. So that was super, super exciting for us. And along this way, one of my favorite videos, if y'all ever get a chance to watch it, is Melissa Eichenhorst's The Long Haul. And it talks about how if you flip a coin 100 times and you're trying to get it to land on heads just one time, if you continue to do that daily method of operation and you're continuing to reach out, you will hit that, it'll land on heads, and you'll find somebody who wants this business or needs this business and is going to have a like-minded attitude like you and is going to take off running. It took me a year to find those couple of people to do that. And then once they did, it just kept going, and I've since found more. But from May, we hit senior gold in September. We hit Ruby, and in September it was an awesome month. We had 2 fast start golds on our team, and it was incredible. I ended up being able to hit Ruby in October thanks to that, and it was just amazing. We're looking at senior Ruby. This month it's going to happen. I will hit it. And I will be able to quit my full-time job in the next couple of months. So my goal, or what I want to say today is, do not give up, because you never know the journey that God has you on, and it's going to be different from everybody else's. And don't let the fear of the unknown keep you from experiencing God's best. So that's how I want to leave it.
Thank you, Amber. I love it. So the takeaway I want you guys to see from that is that even if you don't hit silver right away, or even if you don't hit gold right away, it doesn't mean you're not going to have success. Consistency is definitely the biggest thing. And I'm so proud of her. Senior Ruby is definitely happening this month. So Melissa Bonesteel, you're up next. Melissa. Let me see if I can find her. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Okay, let me unmute her.
I see her, Sarah. She's on there. She's looking.
I see her, but she has no audio. So it looks like she signed on. Oh, Melissa, can you hear me? Melissa? Okay. I think she's up. Whoops.
I think she probably needs to exit and come back in. She's on there 4 times.
Yeah. Melissa, can you hear me? Okay, we'll go on to Hillary.
Hi. Sorry, I have notes because I'm going to be nervous. All right, so I looked back through my genealogy report, and sorry, I'm Hillary Heinrichs, Senior Gold Ambassador. And when I looked back at my genealogy report to where I was last year, I realized that last year I was a Silver Ambassador, and I had 10 people on my team. And that really blew my mind. Sorry, I get emotional easily. I think this has been such a huge, blessing to me, like putting it into words and then sharing it. I often get emotional. So bear with me if I cry a little bit. So my mind was pretty much blown when I looked back a year ago. I'd already been an ambassador for 8 months already, and it had taken that long for me to get 10 ambassadors on my team. And I realized I still had a long, long way to go, because my sights were, even though I didn't at the time believe that I could ever reach diamond, my sights were still way, way farther than silver. So in the 12 months since that point, my team's grown to over 13 times that amount, which blows my mind. And a big part of that is that I really, in the beginning, I had no idea how to be a leader. I had no idea really what I was doing. I just had this huge, huge desire to make this work. And it really all came down to an unshakable belief. The products had done such a made such a huge change in me that I really knew that they could work, and I knew that they could benefit so many people. And so my belief was very, very strong. Also knew that our products, because our products worked, I knew their business could work for me too. I just knew that I had a lot of work to do on myself first. So there were definitely some trying times. At one point, one entire leg went inactive, and that was completely devastating. And it made me really question myself and whether I was cut out to do this, whether I am crying already, whether I would be able to do this. But I think what I had to get over my fear of success as much as I did my fear of failure. So how did I do that? I had to invest in myself. I had to build belief in myself. And I started by reading as many things as I could about our industry and really as much as I could about leadership. And I joined in a leadership group that has changed my life with some incredible ladies. And that really helped to build my belief in myself and in what I was doing and give me direction and help me to grow so much. I'm getting away from my notes now. So the one thing that I never, ever stopped believing in was this opportunity. From the beginning, it's been a blessing for me. I was only a customer for 1 month, and then I decided to be an ambassador. And it didn't take very long for me to realize that if I was going to be an ambassador, that I wanted to share this with people. And so one thing that I always go back to is that no matter how bad my day is, no matter how hard it is, no matter how many people give up, my day with Plexus is 1,000,000 times better than my day without it. And so I always go back to that. I had to really build belief in myself that I could do this, and I had to learn what it meant to be a leader. I had to start reading and reading and reading. I asked a lot of questions. I started copying anything I could find that other leaders were doing. I watched a ton of training videos, and not just on the products, but on our business. You know, what does it mean to be a network marketing? What does a network marketer do? And then I really learned that this business it can be a roller coaster, but you have to remove yourself off of that emotional roller coaster if you really want to be successful, because there are going to be highs and lows, and you ride through them, and you know that your end game is so worth all those highs and lows. So I'm still working on this. I'm still working on how to be the best leader for my team, the leader that my team needs, the leader that my team deserves. And one of the things that I really had to concentrate on was working within my strengths. So I had to first identify what my strengths were. Part of that means that I found other people that are on my team that had strengths that were different from me. And I found ways to plug them into our team and get them to really contribute, and all of us built a strong team together. I also had to learn to prioritize and spend time really investing where the payoff would be the greatest. That meant sometimes that I had to give up and let go of some of the people when I wanted it for them more than they wanted it for themselves, which is a really hard lesson for me, because there were some people that I wanted it for badly because I knew it could be great for them and that they would really be amazing, but I couldn't do it for them. And I was slowing myself down by investing all this time in that. I also had to learn to take myself out of the main focus. I think the most successful months that I had were the months that I spent the most time helping other people reach their goals and less time working on my own goals. I read a ton of John Maxwell now, and one of the quotes that I read recently that I love so much is says, contrary to conventional thinking, I believe the bottom line in leadership isn't how far we advance ourselves, but how far we advance others. That is achieved by serving others and adding value to their lives. And y'all, that means my customers. That means my ambassadors on my team. That means the people that are reading my Facebook posts. I want to add value to them. And that's my main goal. So beyond all that, I had to decide from the very, very beginning that no matter what, I would never give up. And that applies even now. No matter if I have one ambassador on my team or if I have 1,000, my life with Plexus is blessed. And I don't intend to give that up, whether it's a hard day or it's a good day. And so I've drawn my line in the sand. And no matter what comes, whether it's, a month with high attrition, whether that means there's a new back office, whether that means there's shipping delays, I'm in this for the long haul. And it doesn't matter what is thrown at me, I'm going to keep on going. That means I've also not just committed to not giving up, but I've committed to having a good attitude and being positive and enthusiastic, because that's what my team is going to need. That's what my team needs to see. So I commit to that. And every time that I hear one person say no, when I give them, when I share with them about Plexus, I just remember how it's helped one person. Every time I have a person on my team quit, I remember the one person on my team that told me that they just paid for their family's Christmas gifts with their Plexus income. And it makes it all worth it. And so next year this time, I plan to be recently returned from my first trip of many to Hawaii. And I'm just really, really grateful. I'm really grateful for my team. I'm really grateful for our whole team as a whole, and just for the opportunity. It's been awesome.
Thank you, Hillary. And I just want to say that Hillary is probably the perfect example of grit and determination and as servant mentality as far as leadership goes. Because when she lost that leg of her team, it was devastating, especially with who the person was and how much of her team went with that person. And that easily could have been that when she just threw in the towel. It easily could have been that kind of moment for her because she lost the majority of her team. But instead, she decided to work on herself and to invest in herself even more and continue going. And if she hadn't, she would not be looking at going Ruby this month or anything else in between. So, I think that is, I just love her story and I love her. So, Melissa Bonesteel, are you back on the call?
On.
Yay.
Yay. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, I am Melissa Bonesteel, and I am a Ruby ambassador with Plexus. And this time last year, I had been with Plexus for 2 months, and I was silver, and I had 5 people on my team. And in all honesty, I didn't have intentions of doing a ton with this. I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. I wanted to, when I first spoke with Sarah, I told her I'd like to earn enough money to do a few things around the house without my husband, telling me no. So that was truly my goal. I wasn't even really certain I was going to make it to Super Saturday last year, but I did end up going, and I took one ambassador with me at the time, and I think we have like 17 going this year, so we've come a long way. But for me, like if I think back what happened over this last year, I'm a fairly determined person. I have a lot of drive, and if it's something that I want, I'm going to go for it. I don't know. I didn't feel like, quite honestly, gold was all that achievable if I look back. And if I look at the beginning of my journey with the business, it just seemed like it was such a far reach. And I didn't really have a lot going on in the business yet. It seemed to me when we started making a change, my team started doing events every month. So we did our first in-person meeting at my house. Last spring, I think it was March or April. And that to me really did a huge shift in momentum in my team. There was a lot of excitement. We noticed that it was very successful, so we wanted to keep doing them. And they haven't all been as successful as that first one. Some are, some aren't. But I think what we found is we ended up doing a lot of team building through doing those events too, because we got to see each other, and building that relationship has really helped us. But say bigger than that is just, for me, I really like control in my life. I do not like to ever step outside of my comfort zone, and I know a lot of people don't, but I really, really like to be in control. And I don't like in any way to do anything that's going to make me look stupid or where I'm going to feel like people are judging me. I was a silver ambassador, and I had never even made my first Facebook post because I told Sarah I would never make a Facebook post. And she was very wise to tell me that that was okay, because I would not have signed up if she would have told me anything different. But I made my own Facebook post at my own time. because again, I'm in control. And I honestly, I don't think I'm one of those people that has built my business on Facebook, but I do it now. And I do it because I do want to help people with these products. And I do think that there is it is a good way to do it, because I can't talk to everybody, right? But it was not something I wanted to do whatsoever. I was terrified of it. But I've done it. And quite honestly, I wasn't on Facebook really much before the business too, so that had part to do with it. So what I did is every single month I had to kind of take a look at where was I not delivering, where was I dropping, how was I not being productive? And it took a lot of self-reflection, and I had to really have some tough conversations with myself to figure out what I needed to do differently. One of the other things that I found is I had a fear, and I didn't really know I had a fear of really talking to people about the business. I felt like people would judge me for doing the business because honestly, I never intended to do network marketing. This was not something I ever planned to do. I work in corporate America. I plan to climb the corporate ladder. When I realized why I wanted to do network marketing and the fact that I did love the products, but when I realized my true why, nothing was going to stop me from doing this. Nothing. And when I ranked up to gold, I knew that because I ranked up to gold, I could rank up to diamond. Like there was something that shifted for me completely. My line was drawn in the sand, and I knew I was going to go all the way. And there's no doubt in my mind I'm making that happen. But for me, until I knew that, it was not going where I needed it to go in my business. And once I knew that, and once I drew that line in the sand, it really made a huge difference in my business. So not only do I feel like me being honest with myself has helped, but I also feel like I'm also honest with my team. And when they come to me and they're looking for areas to grow or improve, I try to work with them to help them to figure out where their challenges are too, so that they can overcome some of those. And some of the conversations aren't always easy because people don't always like to know that they need to improve in areas when they're even trying to figure it out for themselves. But it's made a huge difference. And I do that in my day job too. And I think my team, my day job always knows that they can trust me. And so that helps. But I think it's helped for me in this business too, because if you really want this, then sometimes you have to evaluate your weaknesses. You have to find out where you need to improve, and you have to be okay with that answer and then actually doing something to make that difference. So that's key. You can't just figure out the problem and then do nothing to apply the solution. So I feel like I have really, even recently, been quite bold with the business and talking to people about it and approaching them more from a business opportunity standpoint than even the product sometimes. And that's made a big difference for me as well, because I'm not afraid of it anymore. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not embarrassed by it. It's a great business. It's a great company. We have great products, and I want to tell everybody about it. And if we can get, people healthy, but at the same time, if we can help them with financial matters, or people like me who just, seriously, my why is I want to put my kids on the bus and I want to get them off the bus. And that might sound like not a big deal to a lot of people, but that is a huge deal to me. And once I realized, I didn't even know I wanted that. I thought I wanted to be, a working mom always. And when I realized that, nothing will stop me. So I encourage you all to dig deep, find your why, know why you want to do this, and then don't stop. And when you have those bad days, think of your why, because I promise you, every time I have a bad day, my why keeps me going.
Thank you so much. One of the things I love about Melissa is twofold. She's one of the most coachable people that I know. We can have honest conversations and we can give feedback to each other about where, each of us needs to improve, and both of us leave the conversation and hit the ground running and make the changes. And I love that. And the other fact, I've watched her evolve over the past year to exactly what she just said, to being more bold with this and with her team even, and with everything. And I think that honestly, the moment that happened with her was when she realized her why. When she really, really fully understood her why, and this just wasn't a hobby anymore. This was a means to change her life. And I think that's when her business really, really started to change and take off. And I mean, that's definitely going to happen for her this year. I have no doubt in my mind. So I'm really, really excited about that in 2016. For her, we're going to go on to Lauren Cloud now. Lauren, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Sometimes I have volume problems. And I apologize, y'all. I'm exhausted today. I didn't get much sleep last night. We were up late playing a dance video game my daughter got for Christmas. But so I'm Lauren Cloud, and I'm a Senior Gold Ambassador, almost Ruby. I wanted to tell you a little bit about what kind of drew me into Plexus and working the business. I originally signed up as an ambassador just 2 weeks after trying the product. I never had full intentions of really going all in when I started. I had just kind of thought in the back of my head that, I could cover the cost of the products. And then get some of my family members that really needed them, and to help them in their health. So it was kind of like baby steps. And, I just was kind of testing the waters. I had just started staying home from my job. I just started staying home with my girls. I had recently left my job to do that. And, whenever I signed up, my husband, he joked around with me saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm never going to see you. You can't do anything half-ass. You're going to go all in. You're going to go all the way." And I was like, no, I'm just going to, I just want to cover the cost of our products. But the more and more that I learned about this business, the more I fell in love with it. The more I learned about the products, the more I fell in love. I absolutely knew it was like a progression. My journey was, I just progressively fell more and more in love. I never really thought about going silver until one day I got a message from Sarah out of the blue that said, "Hey, if you add 2 more ambassadors, you can rank to silver and you'll get $100. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, I'll do that." And I did. And, I tested the water by posting on Facebook. And I had a lot of interest. I got some more customers out of it. I got some ambassadors. I ranked to silver in the middle of November. And I love the support I got from our team and from Sarah and our upline. I mean, November, I had started in September, and November ended up being a huge month for me. And it was so cool. It felt so good to be helping all these people. And the paycheck was nice too, but I love the support. Sorry, I'm getting off track. I love the support. And I remember Heather Burke had posted on my timeline congratulating me and saying that I had top 5 in sales for that month, for November, out of 6,700 people. And I was like, wow, really? I could really do this. Do I want to do this? Because I didn't need the money, but I wasn't sure what I wanted yet. And anyways, it spoke volumes to me, the support and the praise that I got from my upline. And it really built faith in myself. And the beginning of December was when it was sort of a turning point for me. I knew that I wanted to go for it, and I talked to my husband. And that's when Sarah had started a challenge group. And I had a blast. I mean, I just fell in love with the business doing the challenge group. And every single day we had a task, and it was not easy, and I couldn't keep up. And that made me, want to do it even more because I love being challenged. And I just, started thinking about, what do I want to do with this? And sorry, y'all, can't think straight. So I'm like, this extra money, we could pay off student loans. And I talked to Brandon. He's like, yeah, do it. Well, in January of 2015, last year at this time, I was still sober. I didn't really have a team of people that wanted to sell. I was really clueless about the different aspects of the business and learning. Sarah would give me advice, and I think, I knew what she was saying, but I wasn't really applying it. And I woke up each day with full intentions of spending hours on Plexus. And I would, but I would struggle with my organization because I went from having all this time at work where I controlled what I did to staying at home with my girls. And it took a long time for me to really get a hold of that. And it's a completely different world, but I absolutely love it. It's like living in a dream, being able to have your own business and set your own hours and still get to see your family and your kids. And I just love it. But anyways, I was ordering all these books to learn about, MLM, and, they were stacking up on the counter. I couldn't even have time to read them, but I wasn't making time. And what I mean by that is I wasn't, time blocking in my planner, and I wasn't following the own rules that I was setting. So each day would get the best of me, and I would end up accomplishing a tenth of what I started with. And I was setting, huge goals for each day that were impossible for me to reach at that time. So it was a struggle really looking at my organization skills, which made me feel like a child because I felt like I was great at organization. But also, I had a lot of self-growth to do too. Hold on. I had to grow this team under me, and I've been in leadership roles before, but this was completely different. And when I started realizing that I was coming across situations where I realized I needed to really take a look and take a step back at myself and, read books on leadership. I started Sarah's leadership class recently, and it has been huge for me. Huge. I want to read the book again after we finish it. It's just been life-changing, and it's hard to look at your faults. It's hard to look at where, you lack, but it's an aspect of this business that I've grown to love because I think with this business that it encompasses a lot of things it encompasses a lot of things that I love, that I've always wanted to make time for and to work on, but I never had having an 8-to-5 job. Growing as a leader and an individual, being a better person, being positive, health, fitness, getting back in touch with friends and family that I didn't have time to talk to, networking, and speaking publicly was always a huge fear of mine, but never something that I thought that I would want to get better at. Obviously I'm not, I have a lot of room to grow there, but anyways, I thought I knew about leadership, but I didn't, and I had a lot to learn. I had to learn not to be scared to talk to people, not to let my anxiety get to me. I was scared to death to do my first testimony. And once I did, it was like this huge weight off my back, and it just felt great. And seeing it help so many people get healthy was awesome. And after that, every single time I posted, it got easier and easier. About once or twice a month, I would get really discouraged and doubtful. And then something would happen the next day that would help me know that I was on the right track, that this is what God wants me to do. And I just kept moving forward, and that once or twice a month, and that recently stopped. And I know now that I'm never going to have those discouraging moments again, because I'm just so excited about this year. Also, things like I had to really learn not to get upset about white lines in the back office. And when people would, quit, because they came back. And I couldn't make people want what I wanted. So I had to learn to pour into my downline. I never stopped posting the whole year, and I posted 3 times a day. And I had dead times, when I didn't have a lot of activity. But, then I would get slammed with interest on Facebook. So I don't know. It's crazy looking back at last year. I never thought that. Right now, I'm looking at how awesome it's going to be to hit Emerald and Diamond, and I never thought that I would be looking that far ahead. I never thought that would be reachable, and it is. And I'm so excited about that. I have a group of emerging leaders on my team now. It's growing fast, and it's awesome. I love it. So a few tips for me. Learn the products. People will see and feel your confidence in them, and it will, get that out of the way. Learn it in the beginning. Work together with your downline. Praise your team all the time. It did a lot for me. And don't get distracted on Facebook. Be organized when you get on. Make a calendar and a list of your daily duties, and follow your own rules. So that's my story.
Thank you, Lauren. And I'm so excited. You are going to be hitting Ruby this month, and to see how far you've come over the last year is amazing. I think you said you had 6 people or something on your team this time last year, and to be looking at Ruby now is really awesome. I want to move on to Ashley Marcel next.
Hey guys, I'm Ashley Marcel. I'm a Ruby ambassador. I have notes, so if I'm looking down, I'm so sorry. I'll completely get off track if I don't look at my notes. I wanted to start off by saying that this time last year, I was a silver ambassador, and I'm now Ruby. So I feel like there's a lot of growth that happened in the last 12 months. And I want to share a couple of things with you guys that helped me get to where I am today. I sat at silver for a very long time. It took me 3 months to hit silver, and then it took me another 9 months to even hit gold after that. There are a couple of things looking back now that I think really held me back from moving forward and getting, into the, moving up the ranks and that sort of thing, and really developing myself as a leader and developing my team and helping my team. One of those things is I got really caught up in my PV and sales, and I was very sales driven. I wasn't very interested in building a team under me. I hit really high sales right away, and I just got really caught up in that. So for me to go from, looking at someone who could have been a really great ambassador, I was looking at, well, my paycheck's going to go down if I ask them, if they're interested in being an ambassador, I can make a little bit more money with them being a customer. So I just kept it at that. And I did that for a really long time. And then my awesome upline, Sarah, one day made a comment that really stuck with me. And she basically said that wholesale ambassadors are, there's nothing wrong with them. They have a purpose. They're there for your team. And I really took that to heart, because you always hear people say, you never know who your next rock star is. You never know who's going to explode. It could be someone. Most of us probably started out as wholesale ambassadors. We didn't really have any interest in working in the business, but Plexus happens, and we decide to just run with the business. So that, I really took that to heart, and I really started looking into that and really changed the way that I kind of, I guess, recruited in a sense. I really started leading with the ambassador option rather than just, you know, trying to sign everybody up as a preferred customer. And that really helped. It helped with, you know, my team growth. It helped with growth for myself, because in order to do that, I really had to work on some personal development on myself. And then one other thing that I really felt like held me back was comparing myself to others. And someone that I always compared myself to was Sarah. She's my level one, or I'm sorry, she's my upline. I'm her level one. It was natural for me to look up to her and compare my leadership abilities and my skill set to her skill set. And something that she had said to me was, you know, everybody's different. Somebody's strengths aren't everybody else's strengths. And one thing that I always looked at was she was always so available. Anytime you had a question, she was there to help. If you posted in the team page, she was there to answer. And I couldn't do that. I have a day job that I work from 8:30 to 5:30. I have kids that I deal with before and after work. So I'm not as available. And I really beat myself down about that a lot and felt like I couldn't lead a team under me because I didn't have enough time to. I wouldn't be able to, you know, answer their questions at all times. I wouldn't be able to lead team trainings and do these sorts of things. And I really, really let myself I got down on myself a lot about that. And what I finally had to come to terms with was what Sarah had said. So availability is not going to be my strength. That may not be what I'm able to bring to my team right away, but I had to look at myself and see what I can bring to them. So that really helped. And again, came in with the personal development. I really started putting my money where my mouth was. Everybody says, you know, read the books, watch the videos, do your product knowledge, do all these things. And I got caught up in day-to-day life. I, you know, buy the books, bookmark the videos, would never really get around to it. So really working on those sorts of things helped me. Reading the different books as far as leadership, different network marketing books in general, watching a lot of YouTube videos and that sort of thing really helped to develop myself as a leader and showed me what I had to bring to my team. And so that definitely helped a lot as well. A few other things. I mentioned putting my money where my mouth is, walking the walk, you know, talk the talk, that sort of thing. I can't ask my team to do something that I'm not going to do myself. And I'm a very big comfort zone person. I don't get out of my comfort zone a lot. So I had to really make myself do that. I can't tell my team, go cold call if I'm not going to cold call. I can't tell them to watch these videos and do all this research on your spare time if that's not what I'm doing as well. So really buckling down and deciding that this is what I want to do, Plexus is what I want to do. I do want to quit my day job eventually. Deciding all of those things really helped put that in my mindset that this is what I have to do and this is what I have to do now. And then one other thing I had kind of already mentioned, but really getting out there and telling people about the business. I realized that I do a lot of my, you know, reaching out to people via Facebook. And while I was personally contacting people about the business, I was never posting about the business. I was only posting about the products or just various health and wellness things in general that maybe weren't Plexus related. But really getting the business opportunity out there to people that I maybe wasn't cold calling or reaching out to on an individual basis. Really just getting that out there to show other people that this is an actual thing. It's, you know, it's not untouchable or unreachable. You can do it. That's really helped as well and has really gotten in a lot of different interest on my site as well. And then the last thing that I just wanted to close with really quickly was the mindset of you can work the business part-time, but not sometimes. And I had to realize what the difference in that actually was, because I do have a full-time job. So it's very easy for me to be able to say, I don't have time to do this today. I don't have time to do this today. I'll get to it tomorrow. And I was working things sometimes, but I wasn't treating it in the beginning like a part-time job. sorry. So really time blocking and setting planning out my days. If I could get to it, I try to plan out my entire week, but here's when I'm going to do this, when I'm going to do that. And I had to set actual business hours, but that really helped with the mindset of working the business part-time and just not sometimes.
Thanks, Ashley. I say all the time that success is a decision. And I think in Ashley's case, it really rung true, because when she finally did decide to start, treating this more as a business and focusing more on the business aspect of it, even just from the way she was running her business, from transferring over to a more ambassador focus, or at least 50-50, it really, you could see the automatic change in her business, and in her bottom line, and her team just started to explode. And she is knocking on Senior Ruby's door right now. So I think it's really, really easy to neglect promoting the business side of it and focus on the products. And that's something that, I've seen her change over this year, and it's definitely made an impact in her business. Amanda Grubb is up next. Amanda, are you there?
I'm here. Hi guys, I'm Amanda Grubb. I am a Senior Ruby ambassador. The best way to describe me in the beginning and this time last year is stubborn, like the most stubborn person you could ever find in your entire life. I joined Plexus in June 2014, and I refused to sell it. Sarah kept asking me. I did become an ambassador to get the cheaper rate, of course. So I just was happy being a wholesale ambassador. I have a great full-time job that is a very attractive, a lot of people want full-time job. And so I just thought, well, I had just gotten out of doing another part-time job. It didn't work out. And I was like, I don't need this. I had some family stuff going on. I was like, no, not for me. So it took 6 months for me to even think about selling. And the reason I started selling is really, it was this time of year. So this time last year, it's right at the end of December. I just thought, it's resolution time. If this is something that I can do, now's the time to do it. This is the time I'm gonna give it a go and see if it works. If it doesn't, that's no big deal. If it does, great. I did sign up a customer right away. It was my parents, because my parents are my parents, and they bought cards and wrapping paper and Girl Scout cookies, whatever the hell else I was selling. So of course they're excited to buy a Plexus, and my dad still calls Plexus Slim. Oh, we just need the Plexus. I'm like, no, that's not what it's called. And it cracks me up still. But they are, of course, now ambassadors too. But starting back then, I just had a customer. I will say I got my first ambassador in February, late February. And I'm extremely blessed in the sense of my first 2 ambassadors are still 2 of my top or higher leaders in my team. But I do want to point out, I started selling in December, and I didn't sign an ambassador until end of February. And the only reason I signed that ambassador was because Sarah Taylor was literally dragging me into this business. She said, Taryn wants to join. We're going to get on a 3-way call, and this is going to happen. I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. And it worked, and we signed Taryn, and Taryn's now my primary leg, and everything's magical and wonderful. And I want to add that in because I want you to know that if you're starting off, you don't know everything. It's okay. Nobody knows everything in the business. So lean on your upline. We always post about those 3-way chats, 3-way calls, anything like that. And I will have to say, I was really silent most of the call and just listening to Sarah and just learning from her. So I thought that was huge. I did sign my first ambassador, and once Taryn and Kristen, my first 2 ambassadors, added people, and I actually had a level 2, it was like a light bulb went off. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could do this. Could I really do this? I think I can do this. And so I got all excited, and everything has kind of grown from there. I will say in the beginning, I did hit quite a painful personal roadblock. I only have 1 sibling. She is my best friend. She's a Plexus customer. She refuses to join. But she did tell me, she called me one day and said, I need to talk to you about your Facebook posts. And I said, well, what? What's going on? And she says, you're embarrassing us. You're embarrassing the family, and you're embarrassing all your friends. What are you doing? And I was so shocked that the word embarrassing is what she used. And I remember my response to her, and it was, I mean, God was working, because I'm usually not this great with words, but God was definitely speaking through me. And I just told her, I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to stop. I said, I will stop posting to Facebook when I stop getting emails and texts from people that it's helping them. But I'm sorry, it's helping people. And I'm not going to stop and not help someone. Somebody out there needs this. And that shut her up for a little bit, and that worked. So I definitely tell people, always say that, just I'll stop when it stops helping people. When it stops helping people, then I'm out. I will say, as I ranked up, my favorite rank that, which I'm loving where I am now, of course, but my favorite rank was Senior Gold. And the reason is, I feel like I was working my business for me, for silver and gold, and I was really focused on me and what I can do. And then the time between gold and silver gold, I was really talking to my team and finding out their whys and finding out, you know, what are you doing this? The reason I started selling was to get my hair done, because I wanted extra money, and I didn't want to hear my husband complain about how expensive it is to get my hair done. So, and of course, it's gradually changed since then. But I found out their whys, and I helped them achieve their goals. And because I was so ingrained in them and achieving their goals, I didn't realize I had hit Senior Gold until Sarah posted it on Facebook. And I thought, oh my gosh, I did that. I didn't realize I had done that. And I think that that's just the most rewarding feeling, because I achieved something because I helped somebody else achieve something too, and something that they wanted. And I think about my team all the time and what they're doing. They're the most incredible team, and just making sure that they have what they want and they're getting out of this what they want. My two things of advice, and this is a little repetitive from my team call, but I did want to share this as well. Don't let fear stand in the way of your destiny. I did not think, actually Amber Perry helped me out with this along the beginning. I did not think that I was supposed to sell Plexus. I did not think this is what I was supposed to be doing. And I don't think that was because I wasn't passionate about the company and the products. I think it was just fear. It was fear of doing something different and doing something that some people thought wasn't the way you do business. And they had all these questions and doubts. And so don't ever let fear stand in your way. And the other thing I always tell my team, don't let anyone ever steal your joy, ever. And this can be at work, in family, in daily life, anything. Do not let anyone steal your joy. And what I mean by that is, if you just joined, you are gung-ho. You are so excited. 2016 is going to be amazing. If you joined in 2014, 2015, remember that excitement, that joy that you felt of like, I am doing this. This is happening. And don't let someone tell you on Facebook or say something negative about your post and just don't let them steal that from you. It's the same way that my sister made that comment. I could have broken down and totally stopped my business, and I wouldn't have be where I am now. And where I am now is a point in my life where I get to eventually leave my full-time job. We have plans to leave in the fall. You know, there's a couple of Apple people on here, so zip it. But I get to be a stay-at-home mom, and it's going to be amazing. And not only do I get to be a stay-at-home mom, but I get to travel to be with my family and help out with my parents. And it's a huge blessing that I wouldn't have had, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I let someone steal my joy. And so anytime that you feel threatened or somebody is trying to knock you down from this and tell you that what you're doing is not where you need to be, just in your head say, I am not going to let this person steal my joy, and move on from your day. Just don't even listen to it. Just move on. That is my biggest piece of advice, because this is a hard business. we're in the network marketing business, so our business is to put ourselves out there and make ourselves vulnerable. And just keep your joy the whole time.
Thanks, Amanda. And she's so right. I mean, you're going to come up against skeptics and people that think they know all about network marketing and all about our products and that we're just a bunch of scammers. And you know what you're doing. You know who you signed up with, and you know the group of people you're surrounded with. You know we're not scammers. You know what we're doing. And you cannot let that guy that's sitting in front of you in high school English judge you. I mean, it is not worth it. So it truly, I'm telling you, I've had it happen to me. Everybody's going to have it at one point or another, have somebody be really, really mean about this and judgmental. But in the end, you have to realize you are doing this for you. You are not doing this. Their judgments cannot pay your bills. And their judgments are not going to help other people get healthy. So that's all I have to say about that. But Amanda, I'm so proud of you over the past year. I mean, kicking and screaming is an understatement. She did not want to do this, period. And she told me that a lot. So we're going to hear next from Amy Welch.
Hey guys, so I'm just a little bit different because this time last year I had never heard of Plexus. I didn't know what it was. And the very first time I heard about it was by accident. It was actually the very last week of February. I had posted on a neighborhood Facebook page about any jobs over in our neighborhood. I had an hour commute. For 15 years, I was an executive in higher education, and I've written 2 books, so I was an author. But I was tired of that 1 hour commute each way. It was killing me. So I posted on a neighborhood Facebook page about jobs in our neighborhood. And Sarah Taylor, who I did not know, pops up and says Plexus, and I rolled my eyes and said, no thanks, thinking, network marketing, is she crazy? So I said no, and she was very, very persistent. She didn't bug me, but she was persistent in that she replied back to my comment where I blew her off, and she said, oh, that's okay, this has been different for me. And that was enough to pique my interest. And so I sent her a message and just said, do you have a website you can send me to so I can see what this Plexus stuff is? And she told me no. And I was like, okay. Well, she would only talk about Plexus and the products on the phone. Well, I hate the phone. I was traveling for work. I was actually on my way to DC, and I kept trying to blow her off, but I still wanted to know what Plexus was. And so long story short, finally got on a call with her. I agreed to try the products because she'd mentioned 2 health issues that my husband and I had. And I only joined for the discount. And I think I continued to kind of roll my eyes about the business and told her, I don't want to sell it. I don't want to work it. That's fine. But again, and these are my tips. So the one is be persistent. Just because somebody tells you no, that doesn't mean no forever. And if she had just sent me her website, I would have gone to it, probably would have gotten overwhelmed by all the products, not understood them, and never would have ordered, right? So the other thing, though, she did, once I joined as a wholesale ambassador and I told her, no, I am not selling, she still added me to the daggone Facebook groups. She still sent me all the information about working the business. She still invited me to go to an opportunity meeting here in Houston. And I told her no. And again, she wouldn't let me out of it, okay? She drove to my house and picked me up. And keep in mind, I did not know her. In fact, I don't think I've ever told her this. My parents were visiting, and my mom was like, you don't know this girl? She's coming to pick you up? Like, what if she murders you? And I'm like, Mom, come on. But that is another tip, right? Being persistent. I hear people say all the time that, oh, well, nobody goes to the opportunity meetings. I can't get any potentials to go. Or are you really trying? Or are you just like posting on Facebook and hoping people are going to show up? Right? Sarah literally had to drag me to the opportunity meeting. And that night is the night that I decided to work the business. And I committed. And I think, I came home and I told my husband that I was going to commit for a year. And I was just going to see how it went, right? I had a full-time job, an hour commute. I didn't have a whole lot of time to do this. But when I said I was committing, I was jumping in 110%. I wasn't just going to go halfway. So I made time for the phone calls and the team trainings. And I went to opportunity meetings. We had one here in Houston monthly, and I never missed it. And I spent time after the family went to bed, or I'd get up early on the weekends before they woke up. I'd spend my lunch hour at work. I'd read through the files, anything I could do to absorb information. I did. My first 3 ambassadors, I got them only because I pulled Sarah in on 3-way chats and a 3-way call. I mean, like Amanda said, you don't know what you're doing. You're not expected to know all those things as a new ambassador. So if I hadn't pulled Sarah in, not only would I have not known what products to recommend to those people, or I wouldn't have known just how to answer their questions and things, I probably wouldn't have been able to get them to sign as ambassadors. But that's also how I learned, right, how to share the information, how to, answer questions like how much does it cost, right, without freaking people out, is because I would pull Sarah in. And so that's my next tip. It's to use your upline. Listen to them. Once I decided to commit the business, I did everything Sarah told me to do. Now, we all run our businesses differently because we all have strengths, right? So your strength might be you hate speaking to people in person, you hate videos. Somebody else's strength might be that they love to do that and they love to do parties and everything. That's not what I'm talking about. There are best practices, and there are things we know absolutely will not work and things we know that absolutely will work. And so when your upline is telling you that, you really need to listen to them because they've been through it, right? They've been where you are and they've been successful. So that's my next tip. My other tip, though, everyone has said some great things. I kind of cut mine down because I don't want to be repetitive. But Hillary mentioned, get off the roller coaster. Part of that, though, is you can't blame anybody else. So you get the blame for all of your success and you get the blame for all of your failures. You can't blame your upline, you can't blame your downline, and you can't blame your potentials. I hear people a lot make excuses, say, well, nobody's interested, or nobody wants it, or, my team doesn't want to work the business, or my team's not motivated. That's not them, it's you. And so that's when you really need to focus on kind of your own self-development. And really, what are you doing for your business? Because it's all you. We all have the, exact same products. We all have the exact same website. We all have the exact same resources available. And so for me, when I started, I knew that if other people were successful, I could be successful too. I just had to listen to them and, put my time into it. The other thing, though, you can't be hot and cold. Plexus is an amazing company because our products pretty much sell themselves because they work and they change people's lives, but you have to put in the effort. You can't post a couple times a week and then take 3 weeks off and wonder why nobody's buying Plexus. Or you can't, post on Facebook about Plexus on Monday morning and then Monday night have this huge rant or something, or post that you're in the McDonald's fast food line, and then wonder why your Plexus business, nobody's buying Plexus from you. You have to be consistent and persistent, and you have to be proud that you are a network marketer. I was a network marketing snob. That's why I rolled my eyes at Sarah and told her no way, because here I am thinking I'm educated and I was an executive and I wasn't joining a scam. These people are crazy. But if you do any research or do any of your own development looking at network marketing, it is the most profitable business model there is. It's been around for centuries. And all of your multi-billionaires, they get that money from network marketing companies. And so the people who are negative towards you, they're just uneducated and they don't understand that. But to me, I feel like it's our job to educate them. So those are really, some of my tips. The other big one is to just get out of your comfort zone. Trust me, I wasn't posting pictures in my underwear or putting videos about my libido out on Facebook before Plexus. But that's when your business is really going to take off. I'm not saying everybody has to put their picture out there in their underwear, but step out of your comfort zone. The first time I posted, I thought I was going to throw up. Like, I was so nervous. I was shaking. And like Lauren said, the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. But this business is amazing for those people who don't know me. So I started posting in March, and on May 31st, I quit my job. I hit Emerald in October, and I am making way more now than I ever did with a master's degree as a corporate executive. So, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. I did not want anything to do with this business. So, and that is just what gets me excited, getting, the potential of getting all my team members to where I am. I'm just, it's awesome. So those are my tips.
Thank you, Amy. That was wonderful. And the advice was fabulous. I mean, the main takeaway I want you to get from her is how bold she is and how succinct and on point. Like, she does not care. She knows that she's right. She has conviction with everything she has to say, but you automatically start listening to her. But that comes with knowledge. If she didn't know what she was talking about, she would not be able to have that conviction and that intonation behind her voice to say those types of things and to have you believe it. And she wasn't even around this time last year at all. And she's Emerald. You guys can do this. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind. Amy actually messaged me while I was speaking earlier and notified me that I forgot to introduce myself. So I'll do that now. But I'm Sarah Taylor. I'm a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus. I'm going to give you a very, very short and succinct story about what happened, what was going on with me last year and obviously where I am now. I've obviously hit the top level in the company, and then my husband is Emerald. So it's been a really good year for us, but I will tell you this, it did not start out that way at all. This time last year, I was Ruby, but I was not making Ruby points. And my husband was Gold, but he was not making Gold points. So both of us had actually fallen back behind our rank, which you never lose rank within Plexus, so that's nice. But we were not making our rank, if that makes sense. And I'd be happy to talk to anybody offline as to what that means. But my husband and I were falling backwards in our business. We were not moving forward at all. I had a somewhat large team at that point, but in December, we only added 9 people to our entire team. So that was a very, very scary time. We'd just come back from Leaders Retreat. And at Leaders Retreat, I was honestly feeling like I was going to quit. And I was playing the blame game. Nothing was my fault. I had been doing all that I could this whole entire time, but my team was not pulling their weight. And, I was having all those thoughts. This is all happening around me. It's not happening because of me. And a light bulb moment actually went off when I was at Leaders Retreat. It's a fantastic place to go because you learn. And I learned there that I wasn't doing the things that I wasn't being a leader. I was not duplicating. I was not pouring into my team. I was like on a surface level, but I wasn't truly doing it. I had taken the time to learn the business and the products, but I had never taken time to learn leadership. So I had hit what we call a leadership ceiling. And I was struggling to go past that. And I was really, I couldn't figure out why the business had stopped working, because it had been working. I had a crazy amount of momentum up until I hit Ruby and it all stopped. But it was because I was not personally developing myself. I was riding a momentum wave. And so when that momentum wave came to its natural end, which was in August, because that's the end of swimsuit season and all that stuff, I stopped with it. I wasn't able to figure out how to grow over that hump. And so I made a decision. My New Year's resolution last year was to be bold. And I even posted it on our team page. You can probably go back and search Dream Team. And I have a whole post about it, talking about how my New Year's resolution was going to be that I was going to be bold. I was going to be bold with my business. I was going to be bold with everything, with leadership, with training, with my team. All encompassing. I was going in 100%, no matter what. And one of the things I did too was started to really focus on development, personal development, and then helping my team grow in their development as well. And so I taught myself, because I am not a teacher by nature. That is not my strong suit. My strong suit is more relationships and that kind of thing. Leading by example, but not teaching. So I had to learn how to do that, how to duplicate. I had to figure it out. So the first step in that was, number one, I was showing up everywhere. Anytime there was an opportunity meeting, anytime there was a training event, a training call, what have you, I was on it. I was the first one there. I was there. No matter what else was going on in my life, because we had a lot going on personally. We were moving and everything else, but I had a lot going on that could possibly have kept me from those opportunity meetings. And I could have had a lot of excuses, but I didn't. I showed up every single time. And those helped me grow, because you're going to learn something at each one of those places. But even more so than that, you're going to build belief in the company, in yourself, in the products. You're going to be surrounded by like-minded individuals, and there is nothing negative that can come from showing up to those events, and you always learn something. So I did that, but then I really started pouring into my team members. I developed groups of leaders. I realized that I had strengths and I had weaknesses. I wasn't going to be able to do this on my own. So I wanted to surround myself with leaders on my team, or not even leaders, just people on my team that I saw potential in, or people on my team that would fill in the gaps where I was weak. And I surrounded myself with those people, and I wanted to build kind of like a meeting of the minds with those people and have collectively us start running the team, not just me. And it totally turned the team around. Number one, I will say this, and it is the truth. Momentum starts and stops with you. You control the tides of your team. So if your team is starting to slow down, look at yourself first, and never blame your team. It always starts with you. So the momentum starts and stops with you. And if you can gather your team together and get a group of people moving forward with a common vision, and you can cast that vision to them, your team dynamic is going to change. There's going to be so much energy. There's going to be open sharing. It's going to feel like a family, as opposed to network marketing or just a group page or whatever. Build honest relationships with the people on your team and turn it into a situation where you guys are it's give and take between all of you. I know it's getting late, but I'm going to wrap it up here pretty quickly. So over the course of the year, we started to have that momentum ball start rolling. It started going quicker and quicker. Duplication started happening. People were more confident in what they were doing. Those three-way calls that we were talking about, I was extremely active and involved with my team. Ashley mentioned earlier that I was available. I understand that that is not something that everybody can do, but it was a part of me that did sacrifice. There does need to be some kind of sacrifice and some sort of prioritization. Do you have to be available all the time? Absolutely not. But if you set clear business hours and time block with your team, and you're available during those times, and you are eager to answer and to help them out, they're going to notice that, and they're going to appreciate you helping them move forward. So obviously over the course of the year, I ended up hitting diamond, and my husband ended up hitting emerald. And that, obviously it's a huge life change. It's an enormous leap from where we were last year. My husband is looking at retiring in a couple months and staying home with me with the kids. And the amount of freedom that provides, I can't even put into words. He wants to not miss his kids growing up. And now both of us get to do that, which is probably the most incredible gift that we could possibly be given. But we couldn't do it without all of you guys. And we want everybody else on this call to be able to find whatever freedoms that those are that you guys are looking for. But just know that this is all doable, but it's not a lottery ticket. That is the biggest misconception that I see on our team, across network marketing, all companies, that this is a lotto ticket. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's never going to just happen, ever. It takes consistency throughout everything. That means consistent posting. That means a consistent message of positivity. That means being consistent and showing up to trainings and to events. That means being consistent in your activity with your team. It means being consistent with your products, and it means consistently modeling a healthy lifestyle as well, really being Plexus. And so that, to me, is the biggest key. Do not look at this as a lotto ticket. Look at it as a business, no matter if you work at full-time or part-time. It's a business, and it needs to be treated as such with specific business hours and specific intent. So those are the biggest things. I want to close by saying this, you guys. We have heard some incredible advice throughout the course of this call. I want you guys to sit down after this call and goal set and think about where you can be 1 year from now. All of these ladies on this call have had incredible growth. I could have chosen an entirely different group of people that were with me this time last year, and you would have heard the same thing. It takes commitment, and they've done it, and it takes income producing activities. So not only with that goal setting, I want you guys to sit down and figure out what an income producing activity is, what your daily method of operation is with those income producing activities. And then I want you to start attending events. That is the biggest piece of advice I can give. We have Super Saturday this weekend. Find a way to get there. I know tickets are not available. I already helped one person get a ticket today. So if you're not attending Super Saturday, figure out how to go. At the very least, go to the Friday opportunity meeting beforehand. Then we have convention coming up. Everybody can go to convention. You don't have to qualify to go. Everybody can go. But there's going to be a convention contest being released at Super Saturday, where you can get free tickets to convention and a whole bunch of other prizes, a big giant check on stage, and everything in between, travel, bonuses, everything. So keep that in mind. And the last thing I want to talk about is the time of year right now. This is January. It's New Year's resolution season. If you are not pumped up about this, I don't know what will pump you up because New Year's resolution season is the kickstart to our crazy busy season. Our busy season goes from January to August, and our team in particular was able to continue to build momentum from August until now, which is really, really crazy. So, and that's abnormal. So think about the amount of momentum we can continue to build from here on till August. We have swimsuit season coming up, summer vacations, everything else. Everybody wants to start slimming down right now. I will tell you, the first 2 weeks of January are habitually slow. People are going to go and they're going to hit the gym. They're going to start their diets. And about 2 weeks in, they're going to realize this is not fun. I would like to try a supplement that will speed this along because I'm not seeing results yet. So the second week in January is where things start to really, really kick off. So if you see this week and next week be a little bit slower than what you might hope, just know it's coming, but you need to be planting those seeds in their head over these next 2 weeks to be able to take advantage of that. So it is a sprint from here until August. So I want you guys to realize that what you do between now and August really, it determines everything. So make sure that you stay consistent. You reach out to your uplines, you get help, you pour into yourself for, self-development, and just show up every day. Thank you guys so much for being on the call. That's all I have for tonight, but I am definitely ready to rock 2016 with you guys and take a whole bunch of you to Kona, almost said Maui, to Kona this year, to Hawaii for our Emerald trip. So thank you guys, and I will see you soon.